How to wash, decontaminate, and protect your vehicle in under 30 minutes.
I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. Today, we're going to take this relatively clean car because the owner likes to maintain it, likes to wash it on a regular basis, but it needs a bit of decontamination. Now, it has some dust on the roof, has some dust on it, but not enough to break out the pressure washer, not even enough to break out the hose.
If you want to know how to wash your car in less time, because time is money, everybody knows they have no time, they want to do all these things in the world, part of that is regular maintenance. So there's no magic bullet, Ivan.
No.
But if you want the quick vehicle wash, you have to keep up on your vehicle. That's kind of the message here, because we don't need a hose for this procedure, and that's because this owner washes every week.
Right. If you wash your vehicle every week, you probably never need a pressure washer, and a hose will be optional. Now, if you're going off-road and mudding, yeah, you'll need the pressure washer and the hose. What we have in this keg is rinseless wash diluted 256 to 1. We're going to pre-spray and let the rinseless wash start emulsifying and getting that dust off the surface.
Ivan, you're using a really efficient way to get this product on the paint. You could just use a 16-ounce bottle with a trigger sprayer. The whole idea here is let the rinseless wash work for you.
Yeah, and you can use one of those little weed sprayers that you can pick up at the home center that are inexpensive, that you pump up. Anything just to get it on the surface. Now the keg, if you're a professional detailer, you need at least one of these, but they just make your life a lot easier. It's a little quicker to get it on, and I didn't have to pump up by hand.
Normally we recommend spraying something on, our chemical like rinseless wash or Incredible Suds, then flushing the paint with free-flowing water, a hose or a pressure washer, then putting the rinseless or the Incredible Suds on again and then washing. But because there's only sort of a light dust everywhere, we don't need to do the hose, right, Ivan? Because a lot of people ask me that. I get a lot of questions like, how do I actually do this in an apartment? How do I do a rinseless wash where I don't have a hose? And you have to kind of see the paint and know, does this feel safe or not? And how do they make that determination, Ivan?
It's up to each individual, but definitely you don't want to just start with the sponge and start wiping on the surface. Having the rinseless on the surface to emulsify and start working on the dirt is the best way to do it.
Now what I'm going to do, Ivan, is I'm actually going to use the two-sided sponge method here, where I do one section with red and then the same section with black again.
Right.
How do you feel about that method?
That's great, because what we're doing when we're doing that is picking up the dirt
with side one.
With side one, and then just making sure, double checking that the surface is clean with the second side.
If you let their vehicle go too long, it's going to feel less safe using no hose.
Right, exactly.
I promise you.
And we have a bucket on both sides. That's our two-bucket method. And if you'd like to learn about the two-bucket method and why we don't use it, we have videos, but if you subscribe to the channel, you'll learn even more.
How often is too often, Ivan, to wash your car?
Every hour. No, there's no too often, really. There's nothing wrong with keeping your vehicle clean at all times. I had a customer that used to wash their car every day. Every day? And sometimes twice a day. But they'd still bring it to our shop once a month because we did a better wash than he did, in his eyes. He did a great job.
He was the one who had diagnosed OCD, right?
Yes, very much so. So he couldn't bring himself to leave his house without cleaning the car. So if he went home for lunch, he'd clean it after lunch before he left the garage again. And rinseless wash was his wife's best friend.
How so? It cut down his wash time?
Exactly.
That makes sense.
When we introduced that gentleman to rinseless wash, his wife came in and thanked us.
I don't even rub my sponge against the grit guard, Ivan. I just dunk it in, watch my sponge come out clean.
Yeah, there's no
thank
need.
the universe for the beautiful product that is rinseless wash.
Yeah, there's no need for a grit guard other than to make sure your sponge doesn't touch the bottom of the bucket. We don't need to go down and scrub the grit guard every time.
Little black grit there. do you call it, grit, or I don't know what you call it, but I call that a clean sponge. How's it going over there, Ivan?
Almost done, just have the front bumper to do, and I left the front bumper for last because there's a few little insects on there, and the rinseless wash has had now time to work its magic on those insects, and they just effortlessly wipe off.
I can hear my sponge on the paint, Ivan, and that's one thing I tell folks. If you don't have white paint, you're not always gonna know if there's those orange dots on there that feel like, okay, I see those, I know my paint needs to be decontaminated with maybe some iron remover or the decon towel. But without that, on darker paint, you kind of have to rely on feel or some combination of what you see and what you feel or what you hear. And I can hear and I can not feel as much, but I can certainly hear it on this paint, that it's going to benefit from the use of our decontamination towel.
Now normally we'd be ready to dry if this were just a car wash. Here's the towel.
Thank you.
But we're going to add one little step. Ceramic gloss, the perforated synthetic decontamination towel, to give this a little more gloss, lots of slickness, and get that little contamination off of there.
This is a quick but thorough wash process. You want to go that side again?
Yeah.
All right.
And to do it very easy, we had our towels already soaking in our wash buckets. We take our towel, one spray on the towel, one spray on the panel. Where you put the spray on the panel is where you deposit your towel.
And my bucket of rinseless was a great house for this decontamination towel. It enjoyed its stay, and it gave it a lot of lubrication.
Exactly.
So I'm working with that extra lubrication of the rinseless from its soaking in there, plus ceramic gloss is a drying aid. So we're just no pressure, moving that towel over the surface, adding protection, lightly exfoliating this paint.
Yeah, and if this is something you do, every couple months, your car is going to stay protected. Your car is not going to accumulate a lot of contamination, like the roof of this one. And even though they wash it on a very regular basis, if you don't decontaminate once in a while, that contamination builds up. It's not removed by simply washing.
How do you know if your vehicle's a better candidate for iron remover with the decon towel versus ceramic gloss with the decon towel?
If you see little iron particles or rust particles, then yes, you need to use the iron remover. But if you don't see them, like on this one, it's probably not a need. Now, once a year, it's a good thing to do regardless. Well, look, we brought some gloss back.
And always trust your instinct. If you feel like there's not enough lubrication, you can either come back with the keg sprayer, maybe give it a little spritz, like boom, do something like that, or a spray of ceramic gloss. You just never want to be going dry on a panel. If you feel like, oh, this is scratchy, just trust yourself to know what your paint needs when you're next to it, because we're not going to be there for you. So it can be really easy to take everything we say and do it exactly like we say it. That's what we mean, but in the sun or in your conditions, your paint might dry on you. You might get ahead of yourself and do 3 panels instead of 1, right? So working in smaller sections can benefit you as well, so you kind of know what you're up against as you work.
Yeah, and if you have a doubt, err on the side of caution.
Yep. Oh, that's so smooth under the drying towel, Ivan. The drying blanket. Like for me, I'm just dunking my towel back into my rinseless wash. I just want to get it wet again. I want it to have that rinseless for lubrication. I'm a safety guy, Ivan. Lubrication's a big deal on paint.
It sure is. I'm going, panel and a half, maybe 2 before drying, and that's fine. But you want to make sure that if you're working outside where it's either windy or sunny, because the wind can dry you off as much as the sun can. So just make sure that you're not letting the ceramic gloss dry on the surface by itself, because it can set up like concrete.
It's a powerful product, isn't it?
Sure is.
Never forget to decontaminate your glass.
Makes it so much easier to clean. And with the ceramic gloss on there, it'll make it so much easier to see as they're driving through the rain. Now you may have noticed we haven't touched the wheels or tires yet, and we're not in a rush to do so. This vehicle actually has hubcaps. So the wheel barrels are off limits. We can't get to them even if we tried. Well, we could, but we'd have to take the hubcaps and the wheels off. But for a regular maintenance wash, once we're done all of this, we can easily take a rinseless dampened microfiber towel and simply wipe off the wheels.
Ivan, when you don't involve a hose, you have so much less dripping out of handles and mirrors. It's a beautiful thing.
Less drips, less stress. Don't have to worry about water spots. And even the rinseless wash, if it dries on the surface, it's not going to create water spotting. It creates rinseless spots that wipe away effortlessly.
Why is that?
Polymers and science. And even if you have high mineral content in your water, the rinseless neutralizes it. Makes it so much easier.
Doesn't mean you'll never get a water spot.
No, but you have a lot less chance of it.
Yep.
For the wheels, utility towel to clean them. And it doesn't need to be soaking wet. We'll bring our friend the keg back out for a second.
Thanks, Ivan.
So for the wheels, very simple process. We've sprayed the rinseless on. We're going to let it dwell for a few seconds. Then we take a utility towel just to wipe the wheel, or in this case, the hubcap down. And then another drying towel, small one. You don't need the big drying towel, but you can use it if that's all you've got. And a spray of ceramic gloss. And now the hubcaps will be easier to maintain as well. Even these hubcaps are clean. They're just have a bit of dust on them. One spray of ceramic gloss. Go around the wheel in a clockwise fashion or counterclockwise or whatever fashion you want. But I like using a regular motion that I always do the same every time. That way I know where I'm going and where I've been.
That's smart to me, Ivan. Sounds like a great idea. There's different levels to this detail game. I mean, we could polish, we could ceramic coat, we could two-stage polish, right? This is a very quick maintenance wash. And what I love about it is, in the real world, as I mentioned at the beginning, Ivan, time is the big limiter for all of us. It just never seems like there's enough time for anything. And if it's doable and it's easy and it's enjoyable, you're gonna do it more. So this is not the 10 out of 10 detail. We're doing a great job, but we're not trying to accomplish wheels off, put it on a jack stand, send it to a car show. That's not what this is. This is, in the real world, how to quickly get results that are gonna really just put a smile on your face. I think I enjoy a cleaner car. I think y'all do if you're watching still.
Yeah, and if your car is ceramic coated, well, this is the perfect maintenance for it. You don't need to get crazy and repolish every year and all of that. If you maintain a nice clean car on a regular basis, that's all you need to do. And the tires, well, they're already clean. They're not dirty. We wipe them down with the same towel we used on the wheels. We're just adding a bit of tire dressing to them for that final touch. Final little touch up, and we're ready to go. Took us less than half an hour, so if you're working alone, maybe 45 minutes, to wash, decontaminate, apply ceramic gloss, clean the wheels, or the hubcaps in this case, and apply tire shine. It's something you can do yourself easily. And we didn't have a hose to drag out. We didn't have a pressure washer to drag out. This is something you can do in a parking lot. You can do it in a garage. You can do it anywhere you need to, because it doesn't require a lot of tools.
3 ways to save time.
Yeah.
Don't use the decon towel. Don't use ceramic gloss, so just have rinseless as your drying aid. And honestly, leave the wheels alone. Maybe wipe down the tires and add some tire lotion, or wipe down a little bit. We didn't really spend any time on those wheels.
No, exactly.
But you could save some time not adding ceramic gloss using the towel. Again, this is like, if it's fast, you'll do it. That's my whole thing.
And, actually, in a lot of cases, adding ceramic gloss as your drying aid, even though you have the rinseless, does speed up the process a little bit. If the vehicle's a little cooler or it's very humid outside, the ceramic gloss really does aid in drying.
So this is about as fast as we could have done it.
Exactly. If you have any questions, leave them below. We love answering your questions. You can even visit our Facebook group where a lot of people are talking about detailing their cars.
Speaking of doing something in a very limited amount of time, we actually polished a car in less than an hour, I believe.
Yeah.
And that video, you want to check that out? It's right here.